This week on Supercars Talk, I take a look at what's happening in the silly season, while common sense might prevail on a rule change for Bathurst. The big news this week is that Aaron Seaton has been confirmed with Cameron Crick for the endurance races in that MSR wildcard. Appropriate wearing this shirt today, the MSR one. It was probably more because Cam Hill is the big player in the silly season. Anyway, enough about the shirt and my ability to purchase things like this now, thanks to my channel partners. Check them out. The actual big news this week, other than the silly season chat, is that there might be common sense this year, and they might actually be axing the rule that the main drivers have to start the endurance races. This is something that should not have happened in the first place. It's just absolutely ridiculous. If this is true, hallelujah, thank you very much. It really locked everyone into a very, very similar strategy last year. There was a couple of notable exceptions. I think it was actually the winning pair where Todd could run a little bit longer, but in general, everybody just worked to that same strategy. Main driver does the first stint, and then co-driver basically gets their shit done as quick as possible, and then get the main driver in for the rest of the race. At least this year, they will mix it around a little bit. And also the stints have been slightly, or not the stints, the minimum amount of laps has been slightly extended for the co-driver. The co-driver has to do a little bit more work this year, which means that it will not be a simple 2 stints and the co-driver is done. They will have to do more like 2.5 stints potentially. That's where your better co-drivers like your Todd Hazelwoods or your Jamie Whincups will do 3 stints, whereas some of the other ones where the co-driver might not be quite up to the same level. They actually I will go through all of that as we get closer to the endurance races. But my God, some of the combinations this year, it's where to say who are going to be the lesser co-drivers in the field, some people are probably going to get their nose out of joint on that. Fingers crossed that this actually this stupid rule goes away, because I'm all about let's have less of these stupid rules and just more common sense on these things. Anyway, for the big topic of the week, it's time to look at the silly season. I did mention a few weeks ago that I'd try to look at it in the break between these couple of rounds, and it's the chatter has really ramped up over the last couple of weeks. There is a lot of questions and not many answers on all of this. What we can say so far, we've got 4 teams that have the driver lineups locked in, and I'm fairly confident on these ones that we won't have any last minute changes. There is probably a couple other drivers in the field that are locked in, we'll say. Think things might happen. But this is what we know so far for next year. 888, Will Brown and Brock Feeney, they're in. No reason why you would change that lineup. Everything's good there. Tickford recently announced that Cam Waters and Thomas Randall will be extending their tenure with the team. They're both now on long-term contracts with them, but both of them they've got more team issues than driver issues, I think. Walkinshaw and Andretti United have both Chaz Mostert and Ryan Wood under lock and key for the first year with the Supra. Once again, why would you look to change that lineup? And if there's no positions at, say, a 888, so why would either of those guys want to move along? And Groves have Matt Payne and Kai Allen under lock and key as well. So they are the 4 teams that we know will not be changing for next year unless something like Will Brown going to NASCAR happens. Now, we have 5 teams that have 1 driver locked in. As I said, some of these are locked in. Leave it up to you to decide who could still be replaced. But the Brad Jones Racing A team, Andre Heimgartner is under contract. Matt Stone Racing, Nick Percat is there on a long-term contract. Dick Johnson Racing, we got Brody Kostecki locked in. Team 18 has Anton De Pasquale, and Erebus has Cooper Murray under contract. So all those teams have one seat up for grabs. Now, for the teams who have neither driver locked in at the moment, the Brad Jones Racing B team, both of those seats are available. Premier, both seats are available. I thought one was locked, but no, both are available. And Blanchard's, both seats are available. So that means we've got a list of drivers that are out of contract. For me, the big player at the moment is Cam Hill, mainly, because I've got his shirt on. No, because he's won a race this year. None of the other drivers who are on this list have won a race this year. So then in no other particular order, we've got Aaron Cameron, Will Davison, Bryce Fullwood, Macaulay Jones, Jackson Evans, Richie Stanaway, James Golding, Dave Reynolds, and Jack LeBrock. Now, some of these guys are probably going to miss out in the merry-go-round. It's some guys I think will just continue with their current teams, but that's a fair list of guys that are to say. Cam Hill is he's the main guy at the moment. I mean, but you've also got, as much as Dave Reynolds, if he's in the right environment, he had a pole position last weekend. Jack LeBrock, look at what he's doing at the moment, really good. Jackson Evans, there's got to be more coming from him. Will Davison was still very competitive on the weekend. Look at what Bryce Fullwood's doing at Brad Jones Racing this year. Yeah, it's just, Now, we need to look at, there's also a lot of guys knocking on the door of getting in. So Super 2, let's have a look. We've got Lockie Dalton, Rylan Gray, Zach Bates, Cameron McLeod, Bailey Sweeney, Brad Vaughan, Job Stewart, Zach Best, Jaden Ojeda, and Harry Jones. Obviously, a couple of these guys aren't in Super 2 at the moment, but these are the reasons why. But basically, I think Lockie Dalton and Rylan Gray, those guys both have a really reasonable budget to bring along. And I think it's probably going to be a budgetary and not so much speed. I mean, they're both doing really, really good things in Super 2 at the moment. So as much as I don't want to, I think it could be a budgetary battle between the two of them to get the a second seat at Blanchard Racing Team. Zach Bates, obvious Toyota connections there. Brad Jones Racing, I think Toyota will want to kind of fill one of those Brad Jones Racing seats with one of kind of their own boys, with a bit of backing on the car. I think gut feel is that there will be a Toyota car at Brad Jones Racing, but has he burnt his WAU connections? Obviously, Brad Jones and WAU are going to be working together with the Toyota program. Has he burnt his WAU connections but by going with the 888 Eggleston deal this year? Cameron McLeod, was it that a very strategic move away from the Premier side of things with Super 2 and that, moving towards an MSR co-drive this year? If Cam Hill jumps ship, is he the likely successor there at Matt Stone Racing? Bailey Sweeney, Blanchards have got runs on the board of promoting guys from Super 2 a little bit too early. Have they learnt their lessons from Aaron Love? Or, Aaron Cameron seems to be going from strength to strength this year. Do they take a punt on him rather than going from somewhere else? Brad Vaughan, obviously there's 3 seats available at Brad Jones Racing. He is there in the endurance races. If he does a really good job there, will that, put him front and center for one of those 3 seats? Job Stewart, I fully expected him to be partnering up with Jack LeBrock at the endurance races this year, but they went for Job with Cooper Murray. Is that possibly to see how he goes in comparison to Cooper in exactly the same car, and then a bit of a back to back them to see where Job is at to as a possible replacement for Jack LeBrock in that car. Zach Best, he's been knocking on the door for many years now. Could his enduro campaign with Blanchards be a springboard to get him into one of those seats next year? Jaden Ojeda, he's in a great position this year in the enduros with Walkinshaws. MSR were always happy with him. If he is, he's going to be looking for a main game seat. If MSR is looking for a driver, it could line up there. Harry Jones, I was told earlier on in the year this was a lock. He was Dave Reynolds' replacement, and then the whole thing blew up, and all of a sudden now Team 18 are the homologation team, and I don't think Chevrolet are going to accept a guy from Porsche's into that seat. I think they're going to want someone with a bigger name. So this leads to my predictions for where everyone is going to fall into place. Now, take all this with a grain of salt because, this is some wild stuff at the moment. There's not much chatter around what is actually happening. There's a lot of rumors, and a lot of the guys could just fall into, someone like Cam Hill. You could nearly... Everyone's talking about him going to Brad Jones Racing, but, why wouldn't Team 18 and Chevrolet want him in the homologation team at the moment? He's doing a really good job. Dick Johnson Racing has a seat available. Would they knock back someone like Cam Hill? Be a really good fit in there. This is the thing. Basically, as you go down the list, you could nearly justify everyone going kind of to every position, or most of them could slot in anywhere depending where sponsors and or where other people fall in. All of a sudden, if Cam McLeod all of a sudden gets signed at MSR, Cam Hill's definitely on the market. Anything could kind of happen. So these are my predictions, and you watch a news story come out tomorrow morning and saying that DJR has signed Zach Best for that second seat, and all of a sudden everything just goes out the window, what I've just said. And this video will not age well. But anyway, these are my predictions at the moment. The Brad Jones Racing A team, Heim Gardner and Zach Bates. Toto will want one of their boys in the team, and that to me, putting him into the A team, he's won the Super 2 Championship. All that makes sense to me at the moment. MSR will be Percat and Cam Hill will stay there. They will find the money Cam Hill is looking to be. He has brought sponsorship to the team. Everybody knows that. He's now at the point where he thinks he should be paid rather than bringing. Not to say that Superglass and that will disappear, but that shouldn't be, the reason that he's getting that seat. He should be getting paid, and, bringing the sponsorship along is a bonus. I got faith that MSR is going to find the money and keep him there. DJR, Kostecki and Davison, they didn't take the risk on Kai Allen. At the moment, of the people who are available, have you got someone that is guaranteed going to do a better job than what Davison will? If it was me in that team, I'd be really trying to get someone like Cam Hill into there, but also I would have been taking Kai Allen and building him like what Groves have done with him. I'd have been getting him to learn off Kostecki, but I think these guys are a bit too conservative on that, so I think that's why they're going to end up with Davison. Team 18, Anton De Pasquale and Jack LeBrock. Hear me out. Jack LeBrock is a race winner. It's about time he goes to the retirement home. Team 18 are starting to not look like the retirement home so much. But I think Chevrolet, of the people who are really available, Jack LeBrock has a bit of a name. He has won some races. I think that makes sense. He's available. I think the Erebus that he went to is a very different Erebus to what he was promised at the time. I think, yeah, you go to Team 18, you'll get paid a wage, etc., etc. Yeah, as I said, you watch these. All turn to crap in a week's time when everyone signs somewhere different. As for the ones that have 2 seats available, Erebus, they'll stick with Cooper Murray. He's improving. The Erebus, for all their driver turnover and that over the years, they've definitely given people the chances to grow and then to move on. So they're not going to kick him out, for having a few crashes this year. His speed that he has shown, he's going to get a second go round, and they'll promote Job Stewart. He's been knocking on the door for quite a few years. That will be his opportunity to show himself in the main game. The BJRB team, Macaulay Jones, yeah, he wants to continue. There's no reason to replace him. Yet, if the Toyotas are very competitive next year and their competitiveness jumps up, I expect next year to potentially be his last, but he will be going around next year. And in the SCT logistics seat, Dave Reynolds. I think the Smiths are going to... Dave will be available. I think Dave is trying to get himself to Albury. Yeah, that makes... They've got the checkbook to pay for someone like Dave, to me, and it just makes sense at the moment. So Premier, then James Golding gets another go. Jackson Evans in that second seat. A bit of a different environment, and yeah, I think if he gets left on the outside, Premier are the kind of people who will swoop in and grab him. And then Blanchard's Aaron Cameron gets a second run in the Cool Drive car, and then Ryland Gray wins the budgetary battle to get that second seat. Unfortunately for Zach Best, I think he's probably going to miss the merry-go-round, because a couple of these guys are coming up with extremely healthy budgets and they have a lot of talent as well. So that means in my predictions, there is a couple of guys who unfortunately miss out on seats, more than a couple. The big names in that, Bryce Forward and Richie Stanaway. I think they will get the Todd Hazelwood treatment though and get signed up for an extremely competitive co-driver role straight away. But both of them will do an extremely good job in that capacity, and they will get a lifeline from there. But that's my current silly season update predictions. Let me know down in the comments what you think and what are your predictions. As I said, at the moment, I'm not going off a hell of a lot. There is obviously some whispers, and I'm putting 2 and 2 together and getting 74 on some of these. But it will be good to look back in a few months when things start falling into place and see what my list actually kind of looks like. And we can have a big laugh at how wrong I was. Anyway, until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.